Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
A man who ran from the Wake County Courthouse before sentencing is back in custody. How he escaped and where he was found.
Plus, dozens of children were in the path of last week's tornado. They are all safe thanks to staff. We're live at St. Stephen's, where many children are back.
Also, he lost the love of his life during a shooting in Hedingham. Now Rob Steele is taking steps to help improve safety in Raleigh. A man who was on trial for assault on a female and assault by strangulation left during the recess of his trial last week in Wake County. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Authorities say he removed his ankle bracelet and was found a day later by deputies in Fayetteville. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan broke this story on WRAL.com, and she joins us now with how this all played out. Chelsea.
Yeah, Renee, 32-year-old Rakeem Brown had his trial last week here at the Wake County Justice Center. He was on the 7th floor, and we know that his trial started on Monday, and it actually was ending on Thursday. And we know that at that time, the jury in that case handed down a guilty verdict. But sometime in that courtroom went on a recess, and that's when the Wake County Sheriff's Office is confirming that Brown actually took off his monitoring device and ran from the courthouse here. Now, this is a picture of Rakeem Brown. He was on pretrial release for his assault charges prior to coming to court last week and was not in custody, but did have an ankle monitor, part of that pretrial release that was ordered by a judge. At some point, after he was found guilty by a jury Thursday, Brown left the courtroom, according to the Sheriff's Office, removed that electronic monitoring device and left the courthouse. The judge issued quickly an order for his arrest, and the Wake County Sheriff's deputies found Brown a day later in Fayetteville. He was booked back into the Wake County Jail under no bond. Now, court documents state that the next phase of Brown's trial, that would be sentencing, was conducted on Thursday without him being present. He was found guilty of being a habitual felon. Now, we know that Brown is due back in a Wake County courtroom this afternoon at 1:30. We'll be there and bring you those details. Like I said, he is currently in the Wake County Detention Center right now under no bond.
How was that ankle bracelet so easily to be removed? A lot of questions left to answer. Chelsea Donovan, thank you. The man charged with stabbing 3 people in Oxford last Monday appeared in court this morning, but cameras were not allowed in the courtroom. We learned from court documents that 21-year-old Malik Webb was transferred to another facility last week to get mental health treatment. The documents also name the 3 victims: Edward Shaw, Robert Frazier, and Terry Hobgood. We're working to learn more about their conditions. The police chief tells WRAL they still don't know a motive.
Cleanup and repairs are the focus in Nash and Edgecombe counties today after an EF3 tornado tore through there last week. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live at St. Stephen's Loving Daycare Center. Destiny.
Well, of course, there's still a lot of work to be done here at the daycare center. The siding needs to be replaced on this building, and the owner tells me that the fencing needs to be completely replaced as well in order for kids to be able to come back out and play on this playground. Now, if you remember, just last week, this playground was completely covered in debris with trees covering the playground center, and now she says that they're working to be able to let the kids come back out. The damage assessment starts today and could last through Wednesday as people across the area work to rebuild, just like this daycare center. We'll know much more about the federal and state aid that's needed based on those results. The state's next step is to figure out how they can best help people who lost just about everything. Another big question we have, though, is what's next for Pfizer? The company has agreed to pay employees who are without work during this time. Looking ahead to the future, the state says that it will be taking another look at building standards to make sure that homes are more resilient both during and after these storms.
Well, Destiny, that is certainly the next phase of this, the hope provided by some of that money in the relief effort. Destiny Patterson live in Dorchester for us this noon. Destiny, thank you. You can help the people who were living in the tornado's path. Rocky Mount Area Chamber of Commerce and United Way has set up the Twin County Tornado Disaster Relief Fund. Anyone can donate. 100% of the money goes to people affected by the tornado. You can make a donation online or by mail, and we have all the information you need on WRAL.com. Just search tornado.
The fiancé of a woman killed in the Hedingham mass shooting says he's running for Raleigh City Council. Rob Steele is running for an at-large seat in 2024 to address issues he believes needs to change. A gunman shot and killed his fiancée Mary Marshall on a Raleigh Greenway on October 13th, a little more than 2 weeks before their wedding. Steele says there was a lack of a violent crime alert system that day he believes would have saved his fiance's life as well as others. Friends and family members of a Moore County woman are asking for the public's help in finding her. They say 39-year-old Alicia Watts has not been seen since last Sunday. We spoke with a friend who says Watts traveled last weekend to the Charlotte area with a new boyfriend in her black Mercedes SUV. The friend says a missing persons report is now filed with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, as well as in Moore County and Siler City.
One man is dead. 2 others are injured after a fight in Durham overnight. WRAL's Michael Grace is with the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on Andrew Avenue, where the 2 men were taken to the hospital.
Yeah, we know 2 people were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. One of those men unfortunately died. The 3rd man had minor injuries. And I want to get you to this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. This all happened just before 2 a.m. when a fight broke out between those 3 men. And we're still working to find out the names of those men, find out if any of them are going to be facing charges. Police have said that this is an isolated incident and they don't see any threat for the public. In Durham, Michael Grace, WRAL News.
Pullen Road in Raleigh is back open this morning after a person was hit and killed by an Amtrak train. Passengers reached out to WRAL about what they experienced. They said the Amtrak train left the Raleigh station headed toward Cary last night when the train stopped and passengers were told that a person was hit and that person died. The incident happened on Pullen Road at Baver Drive. The roads were closed while authorities investigated. Those roads have since reopened. A Cary K-9 officer that was hit by a truck is improving this afternoon. Dakota and her handler were among several agencies who tried to arrest a carjacker. It all started when a man asked for a test drive at this car dealership off Highway 64 in Cary. Police say he pulled a gun on the employee and ordered him out, then sped through Durham, Raleigh, and Cary. Officers cornered him and ordered him out of the truck. Instead, he put the truck in gear and sped toward the officers. Everyone got out of the way in time except Dakota here. No word on the man's location.
New at noon, a couple of major roads in the Triangle will be renamed. And WRAL's Brian Schrader has a look at the changes planned for drivers and how you can have your say.
The DOT is in the middle of a major project to build an interstate connecting Raleigh with Morehead City. It's bringing US 70 up to interstate standards, including the Clayton Bypass and the Goldsboro Bypass. Federal highway officials say that future road is going to be named Interstate 42. But before the DOT puts up those I-42 signs, it has to untangle a little confusion. NC 42 already runs through that section of I-40 and the future I-42. So to avoid confusion, the DOT wants to rename it NC 36. It would run from the Highway 50 intersection along to future I-42, then back to Ranch Road in Clayton and back toward US 70. Now there's a public meeting Tuesday evening from 5 to 7 at the Clayton Town Hall on East 2nd Street. The DOT says it's going to take up to a year to make any of these changes, so tomorrow is your chance to weigh in. I'm Brian Schrader, WRAL News.
And another year to get it all straight, right? Today we expect to get an update on the recovery plan for businesses in Chapel Hill that were damaged by a fire. There's a group, including officials with the town of Chapel Hill and Chamber of Commerce, working to determine what the businesses need. Fire tore through Mediterranean Deli on Saturday, and the owner, Jamil Kadora, says his longtime regular customers are stepping up now to offer any help they can after the fire. He says he's grateful no one was hurt. He also thanked the firefighters who jumped in to stop that fire. Investigators are still working to figure out the cause of the fire, and Kadora says before that fire happened, he called his roofer to fix a leak. He believes a flame used to seal the rubber on the roof may have sparked the fire. There is a verified GoFundMe page set up for Med Deli employees. About 1,400 people have donated already, totaling more than $85,000.
Let's take a look at stocks as we start a new trading week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 193 points, even after weak economic data in both the U.S. and Europe are fueling concerns about a global slowdown. S&P 500 also in the green, advancing 20 points, and NASDAQ in positive territory as well, up about 30 points. Next at noon, police in Ohio have a lot of questions to answer after releasing a canine on a man who surrendered with his hands up. The disturbing body cam video.
Also, a stolen car goes flying in San Francisco. The wild ride and the search for who stole it.
Plus, mass shootings in the U.S. are on pace to break records. The disheartening numbers just halfway through the year. Elizabeth.
Cloudy skies on the golf course here in Southern Pines at Longleaf Golf and Family Club. That can make it feel a little more comfortable on a summer day. But later this evening, some of these clouds could produce some thunderstorms in Southern Pines. I'll show you on Futurecast.
Download the new WRAL streaming apps on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and Android TV.
Welcome back. You're looking live at the Museum of Natural Sciences in downtown Raleigh. We are sitting at 81 degrees. The good news today, we should not exceed 90 degrees. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Police in Circleville, Ohio face mounting questions after body camera footage shows an officer release a dog on a suspect who had his hands in the air. We do want to warn you, this video is disturbing. Here's Kate Seifert.
Do not release the dog with his hands up. Do not release the dog with his hands up. Don't. Do not get the dog off of it.
I was afraid for him. I was fearful for him. The police are here to protect and serve. I was taken aback when he had his hands up and they unleashed the dog on him.
On July 4th, troopers tried to pull over this semi after they say the driver didn't stop for an inspection along US 23.
You just pull back out.
After about 10 minutes, officials used stop sticks to halt the truck. We see the driver with his hands up here before a Circleville police officer released his canine. The driver was bitten by the dog. You can hear him here in pain. The trooper wearing the body-worn camera asks the other troopers if they could hear his commands.
Was that not loud enough?
You said it 3-4 moments.
He paid no attention, and I'm sure he was not hearing impaired. He did not pay attention. He elected to leash those dogs.
That driver, 23-year-old Jadarius Rose. He's from Tennessee. We went through his record and found one case of resisting arrest from 2021. Rose is charged with failure to comply, a fourth-degree felony in this incident. Body camera shows some of his interaction with officers here.
Nobody's trying to hurt you. Just let a dog bite me. All you had to do was come to me. I was coming, all the guns pointing at me. How you do you expect me to respect you? You got a gun pointing at me. It's like 20 of y'all.
Catching me weeding on flowers.
President of the NAACP's Columbus chapter, Nana Watson, compares the video to images seen during the civil rights movement.
Saddens me that in 2023, we have officers who are unleashing dogs on an individual who clearly had his hands in the air. That did not matter to the Circleville Police Department.
That was Kate Seifert reporting. The police department will not say if the canine officer in question is still on active duty. State police say the incident remains under investigation.
Police in San Francisco are searching for a group of people who stole a car, then went airborne before the car crashed onto its roof. Home security cameras captured video of this white four-door sedan as it barreled down a dead-end street, and there it drove off a public stairwell, flipped through the air, and then crushed a tree, crashing onto the street below, upside down. Video shows bystanders running up to the car. At least 4 people got out of the car and ran off before the San Francisco Fire Department and police got there. Officers say they did find a gun at the scene. Deliberations are underway in the sexual assault trial of Kevin Spacey in London. A jury of 9 men and 3 women is combing through the evidence and reviewing testimony. The 63-year-old Oscar winner has pleaded not guilty to 9 charges involving alleged sexual assaults that occurred between 2001 and 2013 when he was working at the Old Vic Theater. Spacey is free on bail.
The deputy commander of the UN in South Korea said today it has started conversations with the North over Private Travis King, the U.S. Army soldier who ran into North Korea on July 18th across the Korea's heavily armed border. NBC's Matt Bradley has details from Seoul, South Korea.
We just heard from a top United Nations general that they're starting a dialogue with the North Koreans about the status of Private Travis King. Now, this is something of a breakthrough because it's the first signal that anyone has been able to reach the North Koreans ever since Private King bolted across the border nearly a week ago. We haven't heard from Private King himself, and top American officials have even said that they can't even reach the North Koreans. Now, all of this comes at a uniquely difficult time for American relations with North Korea. Just in the past couple of days, the U.S. Navy parked a nuclear-powered submarine here in South Korea, and it came a couple of days after the U.S. enraged the North Koreans by docking a nuclear-armed submarine here. And in reaction, the North Koreans twice fired missiles into the ocean over the past week. Now, the North Korea experts that I've been speaking to say that the North Koreans are probably going to hold on to Private King and exploit him for their own propaganda purposes. Now, there's all sorts of difficult questions around this. We don't know the fate of Private King, but that UN general just today said that he remains optimistic.
And that was NBC's Matt Bradley reporting. We're one day away from a Mega Millions drawing worth at least $820 million. No one matched all 5 white balls plus the mega ball Saturday night. The cash option now $422 million. The next drawing is tomorrow night. You can watch it live right here on WRAL right before our 11 p.m. news. Nice chunk of change there.
Yeah, just in case you forgot, there's still one alive out there, no doubt. Elizabeth Gardner now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We're looking at the radar once again. It looks pretty good for today.
It looks pretty good right here. But so here's the thing. Let's zoom in a little bit more closely. Right up here in some of our northern counties, we have these tiny little showers that are just popping up. Some of those not too far from Wake Forest, around Lewisburg, Henderson, around Enfield, and then sort of east of Roanoke Rapids. Tiny little showers. Lots of cloud cover out there right now. And as I mentioned earlier, that cloud cover can make a July day feel more comfortable. You don't have that blaring sun out there. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a break there. We take a look at Futurecast and you can see again a few of those little showers popping up. We take it on out to mid to late afternoon and a lot of those dissipate and the clouds begin to break up a little bit. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if the clouds stick around and we continue to see a few light showers or if we do see a bit of sunshine during the afternoon. And then over here in Southern Pines, starting at around 5-6 o'clock, we have the potential for a scattered shower thunderstorm. Could have some thunder and lightning and some heavy rain with this. And we could see these continuing through around 8 or 9 o'clock in our southern counties. It wouldn't be widespread, but we'd have a better chance of seeing a few showers and thunderstorms. It's really going to be a very small chance for us today and the next several days, too. You can see a lot of cloud cover here in Durham. Tomorrow, the Durham Bulls start a homestand, and they haven't been at home for a while. So it does look like it's going to be hot, that's for sure, but it looks like our chance for thunderstorms for the next several evenings is low. 81 is our current temperature, dew point 72. So 81 doesn't feel too bad, but 72 does. So it is sticky out there. The temperature is on the left and the heat index is on the right. Now, this is not a dangerous heat index, but it just shows you the difference it makes when we have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So it's 81 in Raleigh, but it feels like 86. It's 85 in Fayetteville, but it feels like 91. It feels like 93 in Clinton. Over here in Southern Pines, it's 80, but feels like 84. So that amount of moisture in the atmosphere does make a difference, and it's going to make an even bigger difference in the next several days. We'll start to see that heat index creeping up to around 100 by the middle of the week, and it may stay that way all the way through the weekend. So 72, that's a pretty high dew point, definitely feeling tropical for us. Today, looking at a high of around 87, that's going to make it feel like 94 with our dew point at 72. For tomorrow, 92, but feeling like 99, and for Wednesday, 93, and we'll start to feel feel like 100. And we may see that triple-digit heat index all the way into and beyond the weekend. So potentially 106 Friday, 106 on Saturday. If we hit 105 or higher, then that's when the National Weather Service will issue a heat advisory. We haven't seen, I don't think we've seen any heat advisories so far this year, but we've been very close to it. We'll see if it happens this weekend or not. A lot of days in the 90s for sure. We've had 18 days out of 23 in the 90s, and that puts us past our average of 15 for the month of July. It doesn't look like we're going to get a break anytime soon. The end of July through the first part of August, a huge chunk of the country has a good chance of above normal temperatures. So we're going to get right on back up there and stay there. Look at that high Saturday, 98, 95 on Sunday. It'll be a fairly dry period for the next few days, but over the weekend, we're back to just a small chance for thunderstorms.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, Buffalo Bills running back Nyheim Hines will miss the season after a knee injury. He was struck by a jet ski. He was expected to be the Bills' primary kick returner and a backup running back. He was sitting on a stationary jet ski when he was struck. He will need surgery. Now, it is not immediately clear when and where he was hurt. Hines is a Garner High School graduate. He also played at NC State. He joined the Bills last November.
Boy, that's so disappointing there.
Oh, what a blow for the team.
Off-field injury like that, yeah.
Now here's a look at what we're following for our evening news. Today at 5:30, a young Sanford family feared their new home would never get finished after the builder went bankrupt. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur will explain how they were able to get it done.
Then at 6, new questions from WRAL Investigates following the death of a second child under the care of social services. Meantime, still ahead this noon, X could soon mark the spot for people who use a popular social media app. Why Elon Musk could send the birds flying south.
Plus, check your wallet. You just might be holding on to an unused gift card, a staggering amount of money Americans waste every year. Twitter owner Elon Musk plans to retire the bird as part of his overhaul of the brand. Early Sunday, Musk posted a short video of a flickering X. The shift from bird imagery to that of a capital letter will be the latest big change since he took over Twitter for $44 billion last year. Musk tweeted that the idea of changing the logo to X is, quote, to embody the imperfections in us all that make us unique.
How organized are you for retirement? One investment firm gives some key steps for help. Merrill Lynch strategists say take advantage of employer-sponsored retirement plans and max out those matches. Save more in tax-advantaged accounts like IRAs. Contribute to catch-up contributions if you're 50 or older. And understand all income resources you will have in retirement. Resumes are often your first chance to make a first impression, but red flags on resumes can hurt your chances of landing that interview. Here are a few helpful tips for that. Be sure you proofread your resume. Avoid including patchy work history. Make sure your job changes are truthful and viable. Don't embellish your accomplishments. Finally, avoid listing possible controversial affiliations. More states are letting teenagers serve alcohol at bars and restaurants as part of a growing rollback of child labor protection laws across the U.S. Since 2021, at least 9 states have introduced bills to lower the minimum age for serving alcohol. Restaurants and industry groups have pushed these bills as they face challenges hiring workers. But labor experts warn lowering the minimum age to serve alcohol will put teenagers at risk of sexual harassment, underage drinking, and other dangers.
Nearly half of Americans have at least one unused gift card, voucher, or store credit. A new report from Bankrate finds millennials are most likely to have unused gift cards. Roughly 40% of adults have made an effort to use gift cards more frequently over the past year due to economic concerns such as inflation and recession fears. The average amount is $187 per person that they could use. We're only halfway through the year and we've already surpassed 400 mass shootings in our country. Why experts say those figures could set us up for a record-breaking year. Plus, we'll tell you about 2 traffic alerts in the Triangle and how you can get around the construction. First, here's a look at the winning lottery numbers.
shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We are only halfway through the year, and there have already been more than 400 mass shootings in this country so far.
John Lawrence reports that is more than half the total from 2022.
Police say one person is dead and 4 others are injured after gunfire erupts in Houston early Saturday morning, according to CNN affiliate KTRK.
We were out here celebrating a friend's birthday party.
The victim who was killed, 21-year-old Autumn Valian. Her mother told KTRK she was about to leave the event when a fight broke out at Margaret Jenkins Park.
My daughter came pulling me, telling me, "Mama, let's get away, let's get away." And I'm like, "Come on." And I looked back, my baby was down on the ground, gone.
Valian was 5 months pregnant, and her mother said she planned to become a teacher.
She's a very sweet girl. She didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve it.
In Florida, 5 people were injured from gunfire at a bar in Tampa Sunday morning. Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister issued a statement that said, quote, "It's disheartening to hear that the lives of so many people were jeopardized because a few people think the way to solve their problems is with violence." These incidents were among the more than 400 mass shootings reported in 2023, according to the Gun Violence Archive. The GVA and CNN define a mass shooting as an incident where at least 4 people are injured or killed, not including the shooter. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Chicago also saw a rash of shootings over the weekend. The city's police department says at least 6 people are dead, more than 20 others were injured. We now know the name of the man who was shot and killed on Holloway Street in Durham. Officers have identified him as 28-year-old Brandon Wiggins. The shooting happened early Sunday morning. No word on arrests or a motive.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has until this afternoon to remove a wall of buoys now dividing the Rio Grande between Mexico and Texas. The Department of Justice says it is ready to sue Governor Abbott over this 1,000-foot barrier, warning that the state's buoy barrier is unlawful. The Department of Justice argues that the floating barrier was deployed without authorization from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Governor Abbott claims the state has the sovereign authority to defend its border. 14 Republican candidates already have announced they are running for the party's presidential nomination next year. As of Sunday, 7 of them have met the polling requirements to appear in next month's presidential debate. The candidates who've qualified include former President Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Other candidates who've qualified include tech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy. Former Vice President Mike Pence also met the criteria. So has former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, Senator Tim Scott, and Senator Chris Christie. Former Senator Chris Christie. As for the other 7 candidates, it is unclear if they will meet that threshold when the debate is held August 23rd.
You might have to find a new way to RDU International Airport over the next few months. The Beltline Improvements Project is closing down a few ramps in Raleigh. WRAL's Laura Levine breaks down the closures that may affect your commute to and from work or the airport the next couple of weeks.
Right now, we are near the I-40 exit and Airport Boulevard, where you can see construction crews hard at work. If you're passing through this area, you will notice all of the cones, the flashing lights, and of course, the road closure signs. The 2 ramps connecting I-40 to Airport Boulevard will be closed for several months. We're talking about the I-40 West ramp to Airport Boulevard and the Airport Boulevard ramp onto I-40 East. It's all part of an ongoing project. New reconstructed ramps will accommodate the future diverging diamond design at the interchange. They are expected to reopen later in the fall. Crews have also temporarily closed a ramp from Western Boulevard to I-440 West. Crews are rebuilding the ramp and a portion of the new outer lanes of the Beltline. The closure is expected to last the entire week. And of course, it is very important that you are mindful of the construction crews hard at work during this process and pay attention to the signs. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Morrisville.
Our county-by-county coverage takes us to Orange, Cumberland, and Wayne counties. Tomorrow, road crews will install a new always stop at an Orange County intersection. Work will begin around 9 a.m. at the intersection of Efland, Cedar Grove, and Lebanon roads. Currently, only drivers on Efland, Cedar Grove must stop. The always stop is a result of a recent DOT study of roadway crashes and incidents at this intersection. Work is scheduled to be complete early afternoon, weather permitting. Fayetteville is being recognized for keeping residents safe. The city won this year's Southeast Regional Dam Safety Award for its work on the Mirror Lake Dam. It was destroyed by Hurricane Matthew in October 2016 and restored in January 2020. City officials will travel to California in September to receive the award. Wayne County will hold a Stop the Bus campaign Wednesday. This year's event will take place in the Goldsboro News Argus parking lot on Ash Street from 9 until 4. Once the items are collected, volunteers will sort and divide the supplies into boxes and deliver them to schools across the country.
A new statewide program is giving kids the chance to explore high-tech careers. It's kicking off at NC State. 16 pilot schools are opening brand new Spark NC labs next month. About 100 students will be participating. The program is launching today through Wednesday at the Hunt Library. The goal of the program is to bring schools across the state together to give more opportunities in jobs, including artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data analytics, and many more options. Wake Tech students will show off their video game development skills tonight. Students in the school's simulation and game development program will showcase their work in a student event. It's a student showcase that is the capstone project of the 2-year program for the students. About 375 students are enrolled in the program each semester. The showcase starts at 5 tonight at Wake Tech's Southern Wake campus.
What may trigger joint pain? The new research that says it may be related to the weather.
Plus, the strongest safeguard to protecting kids online is you, the parent. What you can do if you're really into, and they're really into, video gaming. Scientists have known HIV patients face a higher risk of heart disease. Well, now the drug pitavastatin is showing some promise in reducing heart complications by up to 35%. Pitavastatin is used to lower high cholesterol, and researchers say it appears to provide protection from issues including heart attacks, heart failure, and strokes. A new study says running's effects go beyond the body. Scientists say it could ward off a debilitating disease. Running on a treadmill daily can stimulate a protein that benefits brain neurons and could fight diseases like Parkinson's. The added neurons can improve the brain's ability to reorganize and change, which is essential for learning and memory. The recent findings give hope that new non-drug treatments like physical activity can be used to help slow down the symptoms of the disease.
Some people may want to skip exercising outdoors on humid, windy days. People with conditions such as arthritis are more likely to experience achy joints or pain when the weather changes. Some say extreme temperatures seem to aggravate their bodies, whether it's hot or cold. Theories as to why vary, and studies on the topic have turned up mixed results.
If you have arthritis already, like osteoarthritis, that's wear and tear naturally, either naturally or by an acute injury. The space is already reduced in your joint, and now the pressure change expands those tissues. So now they're like butting up against the arthritis. So maybe that's why people hurt more when the barometric pressure changes.
To combat joint pain, doctors encourage people to stay active. With a lot of people working from home, whether you work at home or in an office, remember, get up from your desk every so often and walk for a few minutes.
During summertime, kids are away from school, which means they could get into real trouble in the real world and also in video games. Now, a major gaming company wants to help keep them safe. Plus,
this bear is absolutely destroying the inside of my car right now. Oh my gosh.
You never think it's going to happen to you, but a wild animal left one woman's car barely recognizable. How authorities were able to lure it back into the woods. Keeping your kids safe online is a priority, not just for parents, but every major gaming company as well. Nothing keeps a kid safer, though, than a parent's involvement in gaming. Some games have their own chat clients that console makers like Sony and Microsoft have no control over. That means parents should pay attention to how communication works in the games their kids play. For example, party chats run through Sony can be monitored, but a game like Fortnite has its own in-game system that only the publisher, Epic Games, can monitor.
We work very closely to make sure we have common code of conduct, and we want the internet and gaming to be welcoming for everyone.
The most important thing is to get involved, ask questions, know how the game works, and play along with your kids.
A California woman's car fell victim to a bearjacking. There's no other way to describe it. The creature got inside a woman's vehicle and pretty much shred the interior to bits. Steve Large shares video of this animal frantically trying to get out.
There's my car with a bear inside of it. So fun.
A trip to Tahoe taking a wild turn for Alejandra Hernandez.
You always hear about bears breaking into your cars or into your cabins, but you just don't think it's going to happen to you.
Oh, it happened to Hernandez, and she caught the whole thing on camera.
This bear is absolutely destroying the inside of my car right now. Oh my gosh.
Hernandez is a wedding content creator and was in Tahoe for a bachelorette party when the content turned from celebration to trepidation.
I just saw it just clawing everything, using its teeth to rip everything off my door. I was just watching it completely like annihilate my car. Like that.
Police finally arrived to open the door with a rope, and the bear ran free.
Oh my gosh.
As for the inside of Hernandez's car, it was left barely recognizable. That bear leaving its bite marks and some other marks.
And the bear left a little treat for you. I saw the cleanup for that also.
Oh, yeah.
She's just cleaning out the poop in my car. The bear poop.
Job well done. My car smells atrocious. But it is so bad.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's my car with a bear inside of it. So fun.
Yeah. So that was Steve Large reporting, and despite all that drama, Hernandez was able to drive her vehicle away. Bear encounters have also been known to happen in North Carolina as well. Experts urge people avoid leaving food, wrappers, coolers, any scented items in their vehicles to prevent any similar situations. So bears not only go in the woods, they'll go in the car too.
And imagine being the person to have to clean up that mess. Ugh. Get out the pooper scooper.
Off they go.
Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner and the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking our not as hot day today.
Yeah, that cloud cover out there is really helping to keep our temperatures down a little bit. It's possible that we'll break out of the clouds a little bit this afternoon and warm things up, but we're looking at highs in the upper 80s for this afternoon. We've had a couple of little showers start to pop up. We have a lot of cloud cover out there. We're starting to see a little bit of our afternoon heating fire up a shower or two. There's a new one that just started to pop up down in Hoke County, but this one, especially near Enfield, is starting to bloom a little bit. I mean, it's nothing big right now, but we give it another hour or so and we may see some increased coverage, especially in our northeastern counties. This is where we had those scattered thunderstorms overnight last night, early this morning, so there's some lingering boundaries up there. Let's talk about how much rain we saw too overnight last night and early this morning. It was almost 2 inches in the northern part of Sampson County. We had a severe thunderstorm warning early this morning, and around the Triangle area we had about 3/4 of an inch of rain with that, about 2 to 3 inches between Goldsboro and Rocky Mount, and then we ran into some heavier amounts near the Virginia line, almost 2 inches between Roanoke Rapids and the Virginia line, almost 3 inches near Emporia, and then down here there was a flood advisory posted here. I mean, just this tiny little cell north of Tarboro dumped 3.5 inches of rain. So those heavy little cells were not widespread, but a few folks got a good soaking last night. Low pressure system riding along a front will continue to head eastward. We again take a look at Futurecast, and we have the potential for a few scattered storms. Futurecast is a little more interested in seeing some of those down to the south, but of course we're seeing a few of those trying to fire up to the north as well. We've got a 30% chance of rain today. It could be up to the north, and then this evening later on a few of those down to the south. But after today, our chance is really limited. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so you may have have to break out the sprinklers to keep your grass and your garden going. You know, that tends to happen this time of year. The rain that falls is typically in scattered storms and not so widespread. We do have some sunshine peeking through the clouds there in Goldsboro, a little bit in Apex, Chapel Hill. You can see a little bit of blue sky there with the clouds, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. It's fairly cloudy in Fayetteville there in front of our newsroom. Tracking the tropics, we have this disturbance that's down to the south. It has a small chance of developing, just a 20%. We've been watching that one for almost a week now without much development. If it did develop, it would likely move into the southern Caribbean. Take a look at our forecast and looking at 87 for this afternoon's high. Still, with the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, it's likely to feel like low to mid 90s with the heat index. And then from there, it really heats up. That 93 on Wednesday is likely to feel more like 101. It may feel easily Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday at 105 or hotter. So we could see a heat advisory posted as we get close to the weekend.
And as you heard Elizabeth mention, no extreme heat today, but states out west are dealing with temperatures in the triple digits. The unique way zookeepers are keeping animals cool.
We wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today. A man on trial for assault on a female and assault by strangulation ran from the Wake County Courthouse during recess. Authorities say last week, 32-year-old Rakeem Brown, who was on pretrial release, removed his ankle bracelet after the jury handed down a guilty verdict. They say deputies found him a day later in Fayetteville. He was booked in jail on no bond and is due back in court this afternoon.
The man charged with stabbing 3 people in Oxford last Monday appeared in court this morning as police continue searching for a motive. Cameras were not allowed in the courtroom. Court documents show 21-year-old Malik Webb was transferred to another facility last week to get mental health treatment.
The fiancé of a woman killed in the Hedingham mass shooting says he's running for Raleigh City Council next year. Rob Steele hopes to address issues he believes need to change. A gunman shot and killed his fiancée, Mary Marshall, on a Raleigh Greenway on October 13th. Steele says there was a lack of violent crime alert system that day that he believes would have saved his fiancée and others' lives.
Barbenheimer dominated the domestic box office this past weekend, raking in over $235 million combined in ticket sales. The trending double movie challenge of Barbie and Oppenheimer drew in millions of theater goers, with Warner Brothers' Barbie bringing in $155 million over 3 days, the highest opening for a movie of the year so far. Universal's Oppenheimer earned more than $80 million, taking the second spot. The success of Barbenheimer comes at a time of rising concern by industry experts that audiences are moving away from Hollywood blockbusters. The U.S. women will look to go 2-0 to start the World Cup journey when they take the pitch Wednesday night against the Netherlands. You can watch the game on Fox 50. It gets started at 9.
We're all trying to stay cool in these summer hot temperatures. Zoos in areas dealing with extreme heat, though, are also getting creative to help their animals stay cool as well. Yesterday, Phoenix, Arizona experienced its 24th straight day of temperatures at or above 110 degrees. The conditions caused workers at the Phoenix Zoo to give animals cold showers and icy treats.
Of our horse treats, ice treats look like they have apples and carrots and sometimes Gatorade water, sometimes just normal water.
Frozen anything. Take a look at this. Mounds of ice cubes at Florida's Palm Beach Zoo are the latest addition to many animal enclosures. Some zoos overseas are making popsicles for animals using watermelons, sardines, meat, and many other foods.
Our pet of the day comes from Safe Haven for Cats. Meet Chaplin. He's a 1-year-old brown tabby with a bit of that Maine Coon vibe. For those of you who didn't know, that's one of the oldest natural, large, domesticated cat breeds in the U.S. Safe Haven for Cats is open for adoptions Tuesday through Sunday. You can see profiles for Chaplin along with profiles of other cats ready for adoption at safehavenforcats.org. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can always get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great Monday.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.